Hey everyone, this is ScrapComputer here. This video is going to cover how to split push in extreme detail. Yes, this video is going to be a little bit long, but it is worth it, I assure you. At the end, I actually cover finer details beyond core strategy that will improve your split push decision making even furthermore than what I cover in the main body of the guide, so do watch the whole thing. This video is not just for split pushers, it's for everyone, as it'll help you know how to work with a split pusher, and more importantly how to work against them. At the end, you should be a split push master for the most part, being able to control the map in a smart way, knowing all the tips and strategies and where you're meant to go at what time, while creating tons of pressure, and simply put, actually knowing what you're doing. A little more than the regular, I'll push this lane because top lane, I think. We want more than that. At the end of this guide, you'll be, and I'm serious, around 70% of a professional's knowledge and split pushing ability in terms of strategy, tactics, and how it works. Let's jump right in with the basics. What is split pushing? Split pushing is when you roam to an undefended lane or weak lane in the attempt to either draw pressure from the enemy team so you can make rotation plays, or take the turret objective for your team to get a global gold advantage. Why is it done? Split pushing can be an easy way to break an enemy's defensive barrier by splitting up and unorganizing the enemy team, and while doing this, generating your team with a numbers advantage, as they'll be running around the map trying to kill you, which leaves other weaknesses and holes in the defensive integrity of an overall clear from the enemy team. This allows you and your team to get free objectives or just general gold. Types of split pusher. Before I get into the tactics and how to split, you have to know this. Not all split pushers were born equal. There are three main categories and playstyles that a split pusher has incorporated into their playstyle. Each champion in the game provides a different type of possible split pressure. Killing the laner is not the only one. I'll explain them and how to play them. The three different types are dueling / kill splits. Example is Riven, Aurelia, Jax, Zed, or Fiora. This lane specializes in killing any enemy member that comes to the lane. They generally snowball extremely heavily and have fantastic dueling potential. Note that you don't have to be a dueling champion. Any champion when ahead can turn into a kill lane. Even a tank Sion can turn into a kill lane with enough kills. Generally, this type of lane split is only available to lanes that can naturally beat most opponents in either team's picks, but more commonly if you got fed during the lane. To play this lane, it's simple. Walk into the lane and attempt to duel and fight the enemy laner. Bait them into a fight, you'll 100% win, or try and force them dueling by coming behind them in a waiting bush or just looping behind them through the jungle. If you're ahead enough, you can even turret dive, although this really depends on how ahead you are. From here, either with a kill or stay there, force the push in the turret, even if you kill them or not, or just push them away from the lane, force the turret. Split pushing is all about turrets, it's not about kills. Push the wave and keep attacking the turret. This will force the enemy team to send more people basically up to the turret to deal with it. If this happens, ask your team to get an objective elsewhere with the greater numbers. Really simple. In some cases, if you're strong enough, you can kill another 2 of them and force it up even more. If this happens, this is generally a win condition and no one can counter it. This is why being the most powerful person on the map and split pushing while telling your team to do something else when they deal with you is extremely valuable. And there's also no risk because you can fight and 100% win versus virtually anyone. This is a dueling kill split. Immovable lane splits. Example, Volibear, Shaco, Udyr, Tryndamere, and Singed. This type of split pusher is the most annoying and more accessible. An immovable lane specializes in getting away over and over again. Even when collapsed upon, Volibear or Udyr's tankiness and their abilities is normally enough to get away, and Udyr can run rings around the enemy team in some points. A good thing I wanted to mention is that even when behind, you can still play the immovable lane because it's meant to irritate. That's all it's meant to do. It's meant to be so annoying that people send people up to deal with you. Your job is to go to lane and keep pushing. Go so ballsy and try and force as much pressure as you can. Don't fight and just keep on pushing the lane. Just what you want is keep on shoving, and don't die. You're trying to get the enemy team to come for you. You're trying to make them go, right, this guy is so out of position that you just can't ignore him. But you're in a movable lane. You're either really tanky or really good at getting away. So this free kill isn't all that free, especially if you keep a careful note on the map. Keep pushing no matter what. Do not leave that lane unless it is the teleport to a team fight you can turn. Keep pushing like you're mindless. Now an example of how it works. This will irritate the enemy team to a mass degree. You're splitting this far. The split actually tilts even me, and I'm a pretty passive player, I'm not gonna lie. Keep showing obnoxiously in the map. From here, 2 things will happen. Either A, the enemy team will leave to try and make a play elsewhere as they get bored, or they'll get so annoyed they'll try and leave to do something else. Have you ever been versus someone that keeps on pushing and never leaves the lane for 25 minutes? Some players, even veteran ones, leave the lane because they're so bored of the playstyle. Or even then they try and make a play and you always get the turret. Or more commonly, the enemy team, after this is B, after being complained to by their top laner for 20 minutes, will send a lot of people top. From here you try to escape, and even if you don't escape, even if it takes them 15, 20 seconds and going up to top lane, you've done your job. At this point, as soon as you see them, tell your team to go down and get dragon, to go get bot lane turret, to go get mid lane turret, to force an objective from the pressure you generated. Now, this is the thing, this lane is really strong because it's really irritating, and especially in lower level play, people hate this playstyle. Push split pushers, kind of weird. Example, Scion, Heimerdinger, Singed, Gangplank, and Echo. This is basically a hybrid of an immovable lane. It basically works with the same, with a little bit more aggro or mobility. As seen below, instead of pushing up and waiting to be responded to and to run away, this lane keeps the enemy laner under the turret with their instant wave clear. This draws far more aggro. These lanes have the ability to push and make quick pressure. It can also get away very easily, as with the immovable lane. The split push aspect can also go to other lanes more commonly and push them out. They will roam and take turrets really quickly because of their immediate clear, and with an ability to get away, they're just a more irritating version of the immovable lane. Their wave clear can allow them to push top, come mid, push it, and then go top again, controlling multiple lanes, not only one, which is a heavily effective playstyle. From here, seen below, they draw mid and top's pressure when they go top, and then they force the jungle and mid to go and get them from doing this. Basically, it's an immovable lane that pushes and controls multiple lanes. This is for the more veteran split pushers that understand the concept. Now, those are the three main types. Some champions can do well in all three, some champions can do only well in one. It's up to you on what you think of your champion and decide what's best for them. Normally the biggest change in playstyle is when you're ahead, which normally puts you on a dual kill split. If you have a heavy escape, you can usually switch to a movable playstyle to get away. A good example is a Riven who is mobile and can do all of these things. She can kill the lane, she can escape really easily, and she can also push pretty heavily if she gets a Hydra. All of these playstyles are open to her. It's up to you to play diverse splits, or of course, kind of restricted one-dimensional ones, kind of like Volibear. You can only really play a movable lane unless he gets really ahead. Just ensure you're playing the right kind of playstyle once chosen. If you're really far behind his Riven top, you may have to play the immovable lane. This thing you've got to remember, pushing get changed, don't fall into the fighting trap. If you're really ahead as Jax, fight and kill small groups of people, play the kill lane. Ensure you're playing the right playstyle. This is one thing that most top laners have no concept of, which is really disappointing. This playstyle is the cornerstone of how to split. I'll now cover basic split pushing tactics on how to work, and these will work for all of these playstyles. Just make sure you keep these playstyles in mind and play with them. Advantages of split pushing. Now a massive section, the most important one in fact. What does split pushing grant us? I'll cover this in huge detail. I'll cover each tactic and the basics and how to use it. Drawing pressure. Split pushing is all about pressure. It's about controlling and forcing your enemy's hand in dealing with you and traveling at inconvenient points in the map, or even just at inconvenient times, giving you rotatory and numbers pressure. The main focus of split pushing is to draw so much pressure your enemies have to deal with it, walk across the map, and waste valuable time and resources. As a basic example, you're ahead top lane. With this power, we want to create pressure, so what we do is we fight the enemy top laner, who can't kill us by themselves because we're ahead. So the enemy team have to send two people. From here we see it's a 3v4 mid lane and a 2v1 top, and I can deal with the 2v1 top because I'm ahead. By just pushing top, you've given your team an extra champion in the mid lane to win a fight. From here, tell your team to get something. Tell them to force a fight mid lane with the extra number. Tell them to rotate out and get the dragon, get the enemy blue buff. Do we see the openings coming in here? You've got to think of what you can get. If you can draw, anytime you draw pressure, think of the opposite side of the map and tell your team to go there, and then get something for it with the numbers advantage you've granted. This is what happens when you create pressure. You create openings for yourself and your team. This is the meanest split pushing and its main power. Now a few examples on how to do this correctly. A second example, we're a Mundo who's done poorly in lane. We're pretty far behind, it's mid game. So we see our team pushing mid. The problem is they can't get to the turret due to our enemy's wave clear. It's just too good. Instead of joining them, we go top lane. This is to draw pressure and break that defensive shell. While going there, we tell our team not to fight. The reason for this is because you're not there. It'd be a 4v5. Make sure you tell them and don't waste your time. From here, push top, and then just try to rush to the second here, for example. The enemy top who's done well during the lane is there. So right now, because you're behind, that laner's ahead, logically speaking, and you can't fight them. But now you've just removed one of the enemy team to the top. From here, Mundo is an immovable laner, even when behind. It is possible but extremely difficult to kill Mundo with this huge HP pool, tenacity, massive movement speed, and then just even the regain. He's hard to sell to kill, so as an immovable laner, don't fight the enemy ahead top lane. You'll just keep on losing, just keep them there. So from here, you're purposely pushing heavily and keeping the enemy team can do two things. Either A, the enemy team will try and collapse on you. From here, you've done your job okay, keep an eye on the map. As soon as they send people, stay there for around 7 seconds to remain as good bait, then run away. And just keep on running and let them chase you. And then from here, ping your team to get an objective across the map. As seen in the example, it's less defended as well, so now they can get it. This is how it works. A third example, this can also work heavily in your favour by just pushing minion waves. So I go to bot lane and I get a massive minion wave on my side. From here I run mid to force the objective while the enemy bot has to go bottom side to clear the minions. Whenever you push a minion wave, someone has to deal with it. And when they do that, you put yourself in a really good spot. In professional play, they leave lanes in a push condition as seen below, and this is how it's done. By killing all the backline minions and leaving the frontline ones, including any sieges. As you've seen below, it will eventually draw enough pressure to force someone to deal with the lane. From here you have around 40-50 seconds from them running and clearing to do something. You can use this as bait to beat people outside and away from Baron or Dragon, or just outside of turret ranges and fights. I'll cover this in my objective guide in the future. For now, free objectives. This is one of the more basic but still pretty effective things you can do. In some cases you can actually grab a free objective by ignoring your team if it's a lost cause, or if your team is safe and actually splitting you some time. This is going to the other side of the map and grabbing an objective no one is near, so I'll cover 2 examples of both of these potential iterations. The first example for splitting is when your team is helpless or safe. As you see below, there's a team fight bot. Do you have teleport? But it's pretty clearly lost immediately, and most of your team is running to the turret safety. You're not going to turn this with just you there. If you feel there's nothing your presence would do, unless everyone's like really high HP, make the decision you're not going down there, but force top lane and get something out of it. This once again will do 2 things. Either A, they ignore you and you get a free turret, or B, they deal with you. Now this is why split pushing can help your team by not being there, as it forms its own pressure. As seen below, we're splitting top again. Now we're not going to go down there because we can't really help the team out. It's pushed and our extra number wouldn't do much. The enemy team sees this and it forces at least one carry role champion to come up and deal with you, meaning your team bot lane has to fight one less person basically to deal with. This is how objective trading works. You got the turret and they have to try and defend to deal with you. If they ignore you, you just get another turret. No matter what, it's a slight win in your favor. Just push up and you force someone from the bot lane to come top, which just eases the pressure on your team. Now in extremely high level play, they won't fall for this, I'm telling you right now, I never do, but of course in medium to lower level play, it's really prevalent. The second example is when your team is safe. As seen below, the splitter goes bot while their team is top. They should ping or chat to your team that you're not to fight and only kite. Do not fight. Tell them expressly not to fight because you're not there. Now as that team member, pretend you're kind of ready for a fight, but don't engage a 4v5 or let it happen. If the enemy team have a good engage and you're in the team with the split pusher, just back off, just play it safe. Back the hell off. Stay far away from a potential engage. When you're the split pusher, just run up and force the turret from here. Kiting teams can pretend to fight and give you time to get plenty of free objectives. As seen below, they're chasing the enemy team. The enemy team are chasing your allied team. They can't catch them though. They're pretending to fight, but they don't really want to. And this is really common, once again seen in high level play, but even then, even if you're just with a few people that know roughly what they're doing, it's really important. Tell them not to fight and run away. And look how much time this grants the split pusher. So much, you can get 1-2 turrets off this. Hell, you can even sneak Dragon if you're strong enough. The third example, everyone in the game besides you is top side waiting around the Baron, but doing nothing. It's just a Baron dance. Because of this, you can run bot and get that free push turret because no one's there to defend it. I noticed that you should only do this if you have teleport up. If not, you'll be out of position. You have to run back to Baron and be a 4v5. I'll cover this later. If no one on the enemy team is TP, you can get the turret for days. You can keep on pushing. The enemy team are going to try and force the fight. Tell your team once again to not do that. But if they do try and force the fight or force the Baron, you can teleport into the fight. So no matter what, it's a catch-22, you win. If they send someone to deal with you, you're going to teleport to the Baron and get it for free. If they send someone to deal with you bot lane with the turret, they're done for because they're going to lose the Baron. If they don't do that, they lose the Baron. And if they try and force the fight, you're there anyway. No matter what, it's a benefit and a free win on your side. Exchanging objectives. I'll keep this as simple as it's basically free objectives with some sugar and spice. You're with your team top lane, as seen below. At team fight starts, you lose 60% of your team. Only you and the AD carry survive. The enemy team start Baron. From here you have to exchange an objective. Don't let it go for free. Since the enemy team are top lane side, they aren't in a position to defend another objective. So here you back off and you try and get another turret, one that's undefended, or split to the opposite lane, or even try and get the AD carry with or the dragon with your AD carry. Basically, anytime you get backed off or pushed off and they force or dedicate themselves to your objective, always try and split to another one to get something for free. And this is called exchanging objectives. Go to the other side of the map and pick something up for free while they're doing that. Now, not at every point are you going to be able to exchange, but most points you should be able to. Stalling on a game and wasting time. This is a long age tactic and still heavily effective due to this day. Split pushing has the ability to stall at a game for a very long time if you do it right. I'll cover this, how it works now. The first thing you have to notice, this tactic only works if you're number 1, an extremely far ahead duelist, or number 2, a very good and movable lane. If you're not either of these things, do not even attempt to try this because you're just going to die really quickly. Or your team in an even worse condition. Below shows how this works. As you can see, your team is losing pretty heavily. The enemy team are sieging. Contrary to logic, you go to a lane they currently aren't in, for example mid lane, and show yourself and start pushing minions. You're playing Singed, for example. People come to flank you. From here, it's up to you to survive as long as possible. It's really that simple. Just keep within range of them, but not within death range. It's a very middle ground based exercise. I've played games as Volibear around top lane, not being able to be killed through for 2 minutes. It took a full 5-man collapse through their jungle, my jungle, their jungle again, and up through the top lane. During this time, your team can do a few things. Tell them to get the objective in the opposite lane than you are, or even if tell them to get Baron. Even this is kind of crazy, but you can even get Baron off this because they'd be too busy chasing you. This tactic opens up a lot of plays for your team that they normally could never have had. At the very least, you give your team time to CS, clear your jungle and get all the buffs, all while the enemy team wastes 2 minutes not CSing and sharing a very small bounty for that kind of energy exerted. Simple tactic but really effective, wastes tons of time and gives your team a little edge to get back into the game. Just don't do this in even games, only as a last ditch attempt. Out-rotating, finally the last tactic. Out-rotating will be in my objective and pressure guide, which will cover this in spades, but I'll cover it a bit here as well. Splitting, especially in higher levels of play, is used as a tool to out-rotate your enemy. One misuse of teleport from your enemy can cost them the game, and I'm not joking. This is an extremely important section. I'll cover a couple of basics, which will mention all of the nuances you have to do to keep note of. Number 1, teleport rotation. A teleport rotation is one of the split pusher's most effective and prominent tools, and it's really easy to use. When you know your enemy doesn't have TP up or isn't mobile, or if the enemy team doesn't have summoner spell teleport as seen below, I go top lane and force my enemy top to come up. I know they don't have teleport as I've seen them use it earlier, for example. If they had it, this tactic does not work. So I'm pushing top, it forces top to come and deal with me. While pushing, I tell my team to get dragon. The enemy team see the dragon getting taken. From here, their tops, well, top, the other side of the map. I'm not though. I back off from the lane, then teleport down to the dragon for some sort of safety. It's a really simple strategy. Make them come top, teleport down and force the dragon. They just won't get there in time. From here it's a 4v5. The enemy team the enemy team's top us to travel all of this distance to reach us. So we either get a 4v5 or a free dragon. Checkmate, no matter what. Teleport rotations make what's called a catch-22. Either the top runs down to get dragon, leaving the turret basically undefended, and we won't reach there in time anyway, or he just ignores it, pushes out the lane, and then we get the dragon. No matter what, it's ours, we own it. Number 2, draw and push rotation. This one only works versus people without teleport or mobility. I'll go bot lane and I'll push it. Now normally the AD carry deals with this. I'll leave it in a push condition and leave before it actually reaches the turret while this is happening. I tell my team to get the Baron while the AD carry is running bot to deal with it. I'm already running towards the Baron, so I reach there really quickly. We start the Baron and the enemy AD carry is too far and too late to travel to it. I could have used teleport from this lane and used the old strategy, but this actually works without even needing teleport. teleport. If you push, leave it in a push condition, then run to the objective, you don't need teleport. It's a pretty cool strategy. It's a little bit more difficult to do, and it's only really advised for really good split pushers, but still. Drawing a couple of people towards you, or even just an immobile laner like some mids already carry, means you get free objective because they just don't have teleport on them for the most part. And that's it for the main tactics and theory on how to split push. Now I'm going to cover important nuances of split pushing that don't really fit or didn't really fit in one given section. Which lane to split? This of course is pretty important. How do we decide which lane to push? This is actually surprisingly important and really depends on what you want, where your team is, and I'll cover this now. Number 1, away from your team. Split pushing is about drawing distance pressure. So as seen below, if your team is pushing bot, you should go to the furthest lane away. The reason for this is really simple. The enemy team from bot takes like 20 seconds to get to mid. To go bot to top though, it takes 40 seconds if not more. This means the time it would take to react to your split pushing is longer. If ever possible, go to the furthest possible lane you can from your team. Number 2, avoid pushing mid lane. There's a reason why nobody really pushes mid unless it's with a team. I'm going to make the entire separate video on this soon. Mid lane, as seen below, is ambushed from multiple ends, making it the easiest lane to get collapsed upon. Additionally, look at mid, it's the closest lane to top and mid. In the middle of the map, mid lane is the easiest and most accessible to any other lane. There's always someone slightly near it, unlike bot and top lane for example, hence making your split pushing less effective. In addition, mid lane is the shortest lane in the game for those of you that didn't know, meaning people backing will be able to recall and deal with you a little easier. Lastly, mid lane is the lane where most wave clear champions come from. Splitting against a Xerath or a Nivea is simply no go. Just avoid pushing mid lane unless everyone else is somewhere else. Number 3, far turrets. Another basic note, always split push to lanes where there's the most outer turret. So as seen below, we see bot lane turret is the furthest out, so we go for it. The reason for this is simple, the outer turret takes longer to respond to as they're further away. Also, the more of a turret, the further it out is, the harder it is to gank or collapse upon you. So again, for example, pushing a tier 2 bot means you get collapsed upon, possibly from all these places. Whereas pushing the outer turret means you can really get attacked from these three places, and one of them is kind of ineffective. Finally, you're also further out from your own turret safety the deeper you go. Always go for the furthest, most distant out turret that you can. It's just easier to get, you're going to be safer, and also it's going to take them time to react to you. Always the better move. Number 4, what do you want? Now, a massively important section, if you want to get dragon, push top lane. The reason for this, once again, is simple. Top lane is the furthest away from dragon, so drawing pressure at this distance make it hard to and get to respond to, like the example below shows. It's basic logic. If you want Baron, go bot lane. It's the furthest away from the Baron you can possibly be. Just to be conscious of this extremely simple yet important note. Teleport. Number 1, teleport down. Remember all those nasty tactics I mentioned earlier? Without teleport, you can't do most of them, if any of them really. When your teleport is down, you're also vulnerable to these strategies. It means you've got to push lanes before they become a problem, or get a mid laner with teleport to deal with them. With no one with teleport, stick to the team. If you've no teleport, stick with the team, you're more helpful. Number 2, smart teleport. Just a small point, back off when you want to teleport, don't TP in front of people. Additionally, also ensure and think you're thinking before TPing. If you can exchange an objective or get a free objective, if your team's already lost the fight, for example, it's a really important part. It works both ways. Just don't mindlessly teleport as soon as you see the team slightly need you. Some teammates are going to complain that you're not teleporting to help them, but at the end of the day, just ignore them if it was the right decision. Number 3, teleport timers. Always keep an eye on teleport CDs of your team. The base cooldown is 300 seconds. If you have to, write it down in chat or hell in a piece of paper when it's up. It's up to you, but make sure you can do this so you know when you can use these teleport strategies and really outplay someone. Warding. Number 1, ward. Yes, it's simple, you have to ward though. Always drop a ward over walls and in the enemy jungle's entrances. Try to do this early before heavy pushing. Don't get to the second tier turret, then ward and dip in and get vision, because you get caught out there really easily and it's just really stupid. If you can, run in just as you clear one minion wave, dip into the jungle really quickly and quite early, then throw down a deep ward. Number 2, pink ward. Pink wards are more effective at the previous task. Always try and get one before pushing. Once placed in an obvious placement, even if it's like in the middle of the jungle, which isn't even in a bush, it will take them a couple of seconds to kill it. Most people psychologically immediately kill these things, knowing that it'll last forever. So you'd be very surprised even dropping them there is effective, but of course do try and hide them if you can. Number 3, Scrying Orb. Finally, if planning a split pushing, Scrying Orb is the most effective pickup as it allows you to get vision without the risk of getting caught. Basically, as soon as you get level 9, try and get Scrying Orb as much as you can. The safe vision, the ability to scout is just invaluable. So many split pushers get caught while putting down wards when it's totally avoidable. Split items. Below is a list of all of the possible split standard items at the top and the activatable split items at the bottom. I'll cover these now. Number 1, split clearing items. You need, yes, 100% need one of these items at least when you're thinking about split pushing. They're basic items that will help you in the actual splitting and killing of the minion waves. Without them, your clear of minions might be in a slow fashion on many champions, which gives your enemy more time to deal with you and it gives you less time to get free objectives. It's simple, just ensure you have one of these items if you plan to split pushing so you actually can clear the minions in decent fashion. Number 2, split active items. The use of the items seen below is imperative. Now notice how to use them. Go to the lane, leave it in a push condition. From here, drop the Baron of Command. After this, leave the lane. Don't push a lane that's already gonna get pressure put onto it. So in the example, as you can see, I went bot lane, let the push was easy rot. After that, then I went top lane and split push. This just forces your enemy to deal with both at the same time and allows you to get another objective from it. It's basically 1/3 of a split pusher on a constant basis in that lane, and it allows pressure in multiple lanes. Don't split push in a lane that's already being split pushed with easy rot. Just a kind of note, that's how you use the split push active items. Your team. Number 1, communicate. Ensure whenever you're about to push a lane, elude your team to the plan. They're not mind readers. Don't go to the lane and expect them to know what to do. If you go top, tell them to push a bot. If you're mid, ask them to move bot. Tell them once you're chased what they should do. Ping the dragon once you're getting chased even. Just try to elude to them whatever you're trying, whatever the attempt, whatever the strategy is. At higher elo or people that have just watched this video, they don't need to do this. At higher level especially, more prevalently, they're not going to need that prompt. I immediately do it, just something I do because I know how it works. But anything below, I would say even at platinum it starts becoming a little easier. Anything below that, just immediately tell them just in case they don't know. In lower levels, don't complain, just communicate. Number 2, plenty of time. Ensure you do this while going to the lane. Don't wait until you're about dead, then ping that they should have went for the dragon. Don't be in the second tier turret and then tell them when they're mid lane to go somewhere and do something. Try to tell them in time. Say, I'm pushing top. Wait until I'm chased to get dragon. It's as simple as that. And once you've done it once, you just have to say the same strategy again, basically. Number 3, your decisions. Finally, if the team doesn't listen, take the incentive. If they come bot after you go top, leave them to split and teleport where you think is the right choice. Basically, if they complain that you're not teleporting to save them but it was a lost cause, accept that and say, right, well, I'm not going to go down there. That's a really important incentive. Just remember you're doing these things. Just remember, try to make your own decisions in split pushing. After you've watched this video, you should have a really, really enlightened idea of it, more so than most and pretty much all very, very lower level players. So this is something you've got to use and try and take advantage of yourself. And that's it for the video, guys. If you like it, dislike it, dislike it. If you like the content, subscribe. And if you think it's horrible and total trash and have dropped the ball, you can unsub. I'm totally fair. Also, share the video if you know someone that doesn't know how to split push, or you meet people that more commonly don't know how to split push at all or how to work with it. It would really help them out as well. Beyond that, guys, have an absolutely great day. Best of luck in the Rift, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching.